I think what matters to people is very different. Like our idea of success is very different because we're all unique, we're all individual. And I think that there's a lot of factors that come into play for people. I think a lot of times people that are very goal focused and orientated, like having a big house, having a car, growing a company, get to X amount every year, having so many employees, getting a status, getting an award. Like if you want to use that as an example, I'm choosing to step into my greatness. I'm choosing to pay attention and look at where your markers are. I think it's the trust of yourself. That's the thing. But the more you do it, the more confidence, because confidence is an inside job.
Hello and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host Tracy Fryer, the founder of Design Studio Perth, and because Design Studio Perth is dedicated to helping business owners grow with distinction through captivating branding and design, we're offering all our listeners a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself frustrated with your current brand and you aren't too sure where to next, use a link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts, but in order to do that, we please need your help. If you do enjoy today's episode, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below, or simply share it with a fellow business owner who is doing one of the hardest things in the world, building a business. Now, I don't know about you, but I find some of the best conversations are had over a great cup of coffee. And so all the coffee for each episode of the Real Biz Life Chronicles is brewed for us by no other than the legends at Cuppa Cartel. They offer a full corporate valet service, and you can use the link in the show notes below to check them out. My guest today walked away from the familiar, her nursing career, her home country, and everything that felt safe, to follow a calling she couldn't ignore. After 15 years in nursing, including time in palliative care, she left Ireland with her husband Lee and their 3 young boys to begin a new life in Perth. But this wasn't just a move, it was a full-body yes to purpose. Those who had her by their side in their final days were lucky because her presence is healing. As a palliative care nurse, she didn't just care for people physically, she held space emotionally, spiritually, and soulfully. Her ability to meet people where they are, to offer comfort without needing to fix it, and to honor every emotion without judgment. That's not something you learn in a textbook. It's who she is. And today, that same capacity to hold space is what women quietly seek her out for. Because when dreams feel too far gone, when self-doubt screams louder than ambition, and when life gets too damn messy to keep pretending, that's when they find her. Through the Good Life approach, she helps women who are ready to give up, but they're ready to remember who they are. Many are on the edge of walking away from their business, their dreams, their relationship, or even themselves. Not because they lack potential, but because they spend so long caring for others, performing strength, and silence their own needs that they become strangers to themselves. She gives them room to exhale, reconnect, take the next step with clarity and courage. She believes our hardest moments awaken our greatest power, and that true change doesn't come from fixing your life on the outside, but from healing on the inside. Bold, grounded, and emotionally honest. She's the type to skydive in Sydney one year, then write a best-selling book about her breakdowns and breakthroughs the next. She has walked barefoot, cranked 90s R&B, and lives a deep spiritual curiosity that infuses everything she touches. This conversation is about choosing yourself, riding the emotional waves, and becoming who you were always meant to be, even when it gets messy. Donna Martin, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Tracy. And I love that.
Thank you. It's, I know this is actually the first time we're meeting in person, and it feels like I've known you. I know we spoke on Zoom and that sort of thing, but it feels like I've known you for longer than that. So it's great to finally meet you in person.
Thank you. There's a lot of similarities for sure, yeah.
Donna, you spent years behind people in their final days. How has witnessing death so closely shaped the way you choose to live now?
That was just because I nursed hundreds of people in their deathbed, Tracy. It was that realisation that at the end, money didn't matter, houses didn't matter, material did not matter. the overriding thing that people that were dying wanted was they know that they were loved.
Yeah.
That was it. They know that they mattered, that they had people there that valued them, that they had brought something to their life, and that they were leaving something, that imprint with others. And for that, like, you can't buy that.
No, and did you find that was a reoccurring theme with the people that you looked after?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It definitely kind of puts things into perspective, right? I find it's so easy to get consumed with those materialistic things. When you are on those final days, you just want to be knowing that you're loved and be surrounded by those that you love, I imagine, as well.
That's because for some people they didn't, and you were maybe the only person that they had. And even that, in the contrast of people that had absolutely, well, they didn't have no one, they had you. It was that blessing, knowing you were meant to be there at that time in that space for that person to transit.
Yeah.
And then for the people that were surrounded with so much love, like so many people that they imprinted and impacted, and you could just feel that love, that energy in the room, and they were happy to go. Like, they were just ready, knowing, and just that ease. Like, there's so many experiences, but that is the internal things that money cannot touch, like that material things cannot satisfy. That's feeding your soul. That's feeding the life as it changes over. And it's that, and it alone was incredible. Yeah.
You said something there, they were ready to go. Did you find some people weren't? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
Like, if you had a young person in particular, like, that was, because we dealt with age 15 up. So if you were somebody that was only newly diagnosed, or you were young and obviously you have your life to lead, and then you have this very fast rampant illness that's eating away at you, and then all of a sudden within weeks, that is not, because you don't have really the time to process. But then you could find other families that were in and out and in and out and in and out, and then they just got to a stage where they were like, I don't want any more treatment. I'm done with what they call the fight part of it, or I'm done with going through this process, because every time it's less and less. Like, there's less value because I'm not present for my family. There's more heartache. There's more pain, emotional and physical. And then it just comes to a point where they're like, do you know what, actually, my life is never going to be back to how it was. And I'm at this space where my awareness is now that I am ready to go, where I'm choosing to be settled in this. And that in itself, Tracy, is really liberating, because when people step into that power, I don't believe that when we pass over or we cross that we're just gone or we go under the ground. I believe that we transit into another room, into just another form of energy, because we are energy, we're made of energy. And so I like to think of people as being in another room, and you can communicate with them in whatever way you choose. That's how I see it, and that definitely rests easier for me, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah, I view it the same. It's I am religious, so I do believe there isn't an afterlife, shall we say, but I think the way you put it is great. You are that energy that does go into another room.
Yeah. And even bringing that to people that it might be a foreign concept. Because everybody's at different levels of awareness, it's not about telling somebody this is how it is, because it's everyone's belief, but it's about saying, maybe what if what you were taught or what you thought would happen, that somebody's just gone and they're gone forever and you can never communicate. Who's to say there's nothing stopping you from still having a conversation, like by the graveside or in your bed, and welcoming? Does that feel like something that gives you more peace instead of it's just definite and you're in a heartache and a world of pain? Does that make sense?
It does. My gran passed away in 2002, and we were very, very close. And there's times where you get just such a strong sense of that person, or you can almost, like, if there's a particular perfume that she used to wear, or just that smell. You know, so everyone has their own kind of smell, and I just end up having a chat with her now. Like, I know I sound a bit nutty, but
absolutely nothing nutty about that. I smell my granny and granddad's home all the time, especially I'll get a waft of the smell of their home.
Yes.
Every now and again when certain things are going on. I'll get my friend's perfume. She used to wear Angel. And not the only the only other person I know that wears it is my mother-in-law, but my friend passed away last year unexpected.
Yeah.
And yet to this, I would hear something and I would just smell it and I'm like, yeah, we got this.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry to have her passing as well. Yeah. It's I think it's a nice way that you put it, that it's not just so final, and it kind of gives your soul that time to grieve, but still know that that person's there as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. I always think about what is going to make me feel more at ease, like to process. It's not to ignore or not to dumb it down, but to allow me to feel and allow me to go through the different transitions in a way that's right for me. And I think it's very important for everybody. You're not just in a box of this is what you do. You have to feel into your own unique way because you're unique.
Definitely.
And it's whatever works for you.
I went and saw a clairvoyant in January, and it was incredible what came through. My grand came through, and it was just such specific information, because I was like, oh, maybe just go on my Facebook. There was none of that. So my granny can only speak Zulu for the first few years of her life, and this came through that she lived on a farm, and it was incredible. So I firmly used a whole box of the lady's tissues. But it was absolutely, just incredible, the stuff that she, there are some fakes out there, but she was just really phenomenal.
You know, when you're asking the questions, or when you're in somebody's energy space, and when you're open, when you're not discounting, when you're not skeptical, but when you allow yourself to be open, you experience different things for yourself.
So
you feel different energies. You have different illogical things that seemingly don't make sense. But when you experience that for yourself, Tracy, nobody can tell you any different.
No, not at all.
And this. I've had so many different experiences in my lifetime, and it's just like unreal. And I'm like, no one can tell me anything. And this is what choosing you is all about. This is about you being open to your idea and your experiences about life. And wow, watch what comes in. Yes,
absolutely incredible. Donna, was there a particular moment in palliative care that you still carry with you today?
There's been quite a few moments. Quite a few, but actually with the palliative care, like, I burnt out and I did hit a wall at the end, because I was going through other stuff as well as a palliative care nurse. I was going through personal stuff at the same time, and I actually did burn out and hit a wall, and I had to end up leaving, and I come back for a short time. I actually left and came to Australia for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I remember getting off the plane just to get away and just out of that space, the heavy energy, because I think we'd gone through weeks and weeks and weeks of people dying consistently. And I remember going to see my cousin. She's, look, just come over and just get a break. And I remember the doors opening and suddenly from the airplane and going out. And Kelly Clarkson's song, I Can Breathe, for the first time. It was just like, I literally felt my whole heart and chest and everything just, and just this big gasp of air, because I had felt so heavy for so long and hadn't realised, because I was trying to be everything to everyone, and I had new families personally. I had new people connected to their families because of where we were from in Derry. And when you're in a place where you know people and you're the local hospital, and then all of a sudden it's your friends' parents, it's your friends' relations, that was just, and then somebody particularly died on my birthday, and it was just like, and I knew their family and the threads, and it was just like, no, it was just the time out then for me. It was just like,
it's a big load to carry.
No, so kind of after that, and then going to Australia and come back, when I experienced Australia and that breathing, because you nearly forget to breathe when you're in a bubble of whatever you're going through, your vortex, and you just kind of keep going. And that was my realisation to say, actually, there is more to life. I nearly forgot to breathe. And I was reminded when I went to Sydney, and I nearly panicked then when I came home. I was like, I can't come home to this. I can't come home to go back to the way my life was.
No.
And in that, it was very much, this is me done with this. Very grateful for it, but just done with this. But this stage of nursing,
Did you find... What did burnout look like for you? Because I think a lot of us, and I know men go through this, but women in particular, we just go, looking after everyone. What did burnout look like? Because I think some people don't even realise they're in that state.
It's a good question, Tracy, because for me, my energy was running fast. all the time. Like, it was like you had the jitters, like you had too many coffees.
Yes.
It was like a heaviness in the morning and a lull in the dread of going under your work. And it was that, what's going to happen today? What's going to be today? What's going to show up today? Like, is there somebody going to die, or from your previous shift, from whatever? But I was dealing at the same time with stuff going on in the home that I lived in, and I was getting abuse on a regular basis for nearly 2 years. So I had was going through this at the same time. So I was getting up in the morning going, okay, is there anything outside my property going to be damaged? What's going to be done from the people that were here last night when I come home? Is there anything going to be wrecked? What am I facing today? Who was sick? Is there somebody going to be back in? Is there somebody that I know is end stage? It's their last breath. The kind of today is going to be today. And then at the end of your shift, you're going, are those people going to be back outside my house? Is the door going to be kicked down? Is the property is going to something? So then I was just going round in this circuit. So burnout for me was running on a heightened anxiety and fumes, and just trying to keep it all together. I would be very empathetic and emotional, so I shed a lot of tears, always have done. I was always called a crier, always called tiny tears, and why are you crying again? And but I couldn't hide it, and it would be all over my face. So I spent a lot of time taking deep breaths, sucking back my tears, dabbing my eyes, touching up my makeup, touching up mascara, shaking off in the toilet, patting water, running the wrists, and then going, right, get your act together, Donna. Come on. And then going at it again. And then when I got home, I would break down and I would just pull the duvet over my head and cry. Sob, and then you were going up with the pit of your stomach feeling sick again. Then you were going in the energy, and then you were like, quick, get out the door, just scan, check, get out, get into work. Then that's your space, and then you would start going the rerun again. And it was that went on for, oh my God, it was ridiculous. Like, when you think of the stuff we go through and we don't pay attention to it, I think I was just numb at the end and just kind of shut down nearly. It was just this automated thing
process.
That's kind of the way I can explain it. And then when I just hit the wall, I didn't stop crying.
And that was the turning point for you when you realized?
That very much was for me, because I had a lot of decisions to make when I was in Oz, and I had another spiritual experience there of stuff that had happened before, and I had called in for answers and I got them. I remember sitting in Waverley Park, just off Bondi Road, and I was just like, right, if there's a God or whatever you want to call it up there, if there's something up there and you're guiding me and you've shown me ways before, then you give me a crystal clear way that I know that you're speaking to me that nobody else could experience. Tell me what I need to do. Show me a way. And a couple of years before that, Tracy, I'd been to Medjugorje, which is a holy place in Croatia. I'd been with a group of friends, but one of the men out of the tour group had died. He had diabetes, he had learning needs, and he had gone into a diabetic coma. But we had found him behind the door of the room.
Right, on that trip.
And so I was a nurse at the time, so we got him into the hospital. But the next day we were walking down the main street toward the one church that's there, and there's a big clock on the church. And I remember just pausing, and one of the people with me had got a phone call, and in that I just stopped and I says, that man has passed away. And I could literally feel like a last breath, and I could feel the goosebumps, and I could feel like just like an energy move. And I just looked over at the person, and they literally said, he's just passed away.
Goodness.
In that I could smell roses, and I always associate roses with Mary, Mother, Our Lady, or whatever you want to call her, and Medjugorje.
Yes.
So when I was in Bondi a couple of years later, then I was like, give me a clear sign, because the trauma I had been through to do with my house, I had to walk away. I walked away from the home, but I kept paying my mortgage. People kept telling me I was insane.
My goodness, yeah.
And I had to make a decision whether to go bankrupt, which I'd never, ever been in debt ever in my lifetime. This was traumatic for me. And it was like, why when it wasn't my fault? So in that park, I was lying, Tracy, and I was like, right, just show me. I just lay and just shed tears. And there was loads of kids over in the radar and noise and stuff. Everything went quiet. And I just get this really strong smell of roses.
Oh my goodness.
And it transported me back to Medjugorje.
Yeah.
Back to this remembering of the boy passing. And just a voice, you know what to do. And it was just like, go home, go bank, everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And that was it.
Amazing. Donna, are you happy to speak about that experience? Was it a relationship? If you don't mind me asking, we don't have to go there if you're not.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It just happened that I just qualified as a nurse. I was 26. And for the first time, I was making really good money. And I thought, right, now's my time to go out and buy my own place. It was at the height of the boom. I paid really big money for a 2-bed apartment or flat in an area that I had gone to school in. Okay. But it was an area that I knew. Yes. But there was a lot of antisocial behaviour and different things going on. I just didn't think that it would affect me. And so when I had bought a flat that was above another one, and the one below was empty. And a lot of kids that had nowhere else to go used it as a drink den, as a drug den. Oh my goodness. Wow. And so when I came in, I was like, why are you here? It's not your place. This is my home. Can you move on? Yeah. And from then it just escalated. So I went through nearly 2 years of kicking in your front door, trying to breaking bottles on your car, trying to slash your tyres, just making dents in your car. I couldn't park my car outside the house. And it ended up, the last thing was death threats. Wow. Yeah, you're dead. We're going to get you. This is gone. That's it for you. And it went to the stage of the police. And when it got to that stage, it was like, okay, and enough is enough. And I was dealing with that as well as a load of patients just consistently dying or being newly diagnosed and going through the process. So I was going from one event of feeling like I was really helping people to the polar opposite of feeling really helpless. Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone. I spoke to my sister about some of the stuff, but I kept a lot of stuff and kept a lot of stuff from other people because I was like, I don't want them to worry. And like, I put myself into this situation, and then I had other people telling me, well, you put yourself in this people that should never have said it. But because of my awareness at the time, I was thinking, well, these people are senior people that are in positions that should know better. And if they're telling me I was foolish to put myself here, then who am I to disagree? Got it, yeah. Until I realised, who am I not to disagree?
Precisely. Isn't it funny, like sometimes when something's supposed to be a happy moment, like buying your first place, and then, you know, you experience such years of trauma, walk us through that, because I think even in my own life, I've experienced that, you know, it's supposed to be fun and happy and a good moment, and then it just kind of goes completely the other way.
Like now it's resolved. I done a lot of work on it. I done the TRTP, the Richard's trauma process, with an incredible girl, and it's just more subconscious layering to literally just clear your slate and those nuggets that have been kept behind. It's just like, but now I don't do bullshit, Tracy. I don't tolerate it. I don't, and it's not for, it's just, life is too short. Like, just stop playing about, stop playing small. It's time to own and start doing what you really want to do. Like, there's no more excuses. Yeah. That's it.
And is that how you work with your clients? You sort of take them through that process?
I do, because everybody's at different levels of awareness, and the Good Life approach itself is specifically designed. Because I remember people saying, niche, be specific, only do one thing, only be clear on one. And I was like, but I want to layer and I want to meet people where they're at in their level of awareness, because that's completely different for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
And I was like, no, something was telling me inside, find your way, Donna, find your rhythm, find what it is that you know to be true and build on that. And that's what the Good Life is. Like, it's an umbrella, and it has these different stepping stones where women can actually evolve and expand in their time in where they're at. So yeah, I am a no bullshit coach. Yeah. Like, don't give me excuses, but I am there to support you and hold your hand. I'm there to share with you and guide you in your perspectives, in your ideas, and show you actually these are ways that you maybe experience it, and these can be reasons from the mechanical mind. Like, it doesn't mean it's a truth, but it's showing you a different lens, and then it's up to you. It's giving you the opportunity to say, okay, do I choose me in this? Like, do I choose to expand my thinking, to choose a different way?
Yeah, because it's such a process as well, isn't it? You can't just like bombard someone with something. Like, you have to.
No.
I've got a mentor, coach, advisor, all in one. So it's just like, if I look back, if he kind of just dropped a grenade at me, I would have freaked out. But he's very good at, like, and imagine you're at the same, like, you have to kind of almost breadcrumb it in a way so the person takes that own journey themselves.
I think it's about each person having that drop in for themselves. I can't make you know something unless you're ready to know it. I can share something in a way, but it's ultimately up to you to internalize it. That's why embodiment is part of my process, because that is such an important part. Like, you can teach people things. We can intellectually repeat something back with our conscious mind or logical mind and say, okay, yeah, I know it. But there's a big difference, as you know, between saying you know something and actually integrating it, implementing and embodying, like really feeling and dropping in and operating from that truth is completely different, isn't it? And get you different results. That's where your results lie.
Yeah, and I find the more you go on that journey, you kind of sit deeper into it, the more you kind of like embrace the process, I want to say. I've been on quite a journey, so I can tell you right to what you're saying.
That's why we get on so well.
Probably. I did want to ask earlier, have you always been so intuitive and spiritual? Because it's almost like you've got a bit of a sixth sense in some ways.
We all have sixth sense. So that is like... Right. So if in nursing you're taught, right, we have 5 senses, our sight, hear and smell, taste, touch. But we also have a sixth sense, an intuitive sense. We all have it. It's our birthright. It's our gift as much as your other senses. But we're not really taught about it unless we kind of do personal development or unless we kind of have an experience that really hones in on that for us, where we're like, this is undeniable. But like, I say to people, have you ever been in a shop and you feel somebody staring at you and you turn around and they're looking? That's your sixth, like, you're using your sixth sense all the time. That gut feeling when you need to get out of somewhere, that gut feeling when you're in an interview and you're going, that person's not right, or you see something on paper and somebody and you're like, you meet them in person and you're like, nah, there's something you can't put your finger on and you're like, just, or even when you're doing stuff yourself, Tracy, and you're like, I just don't want to send that out, or that doesn't feel, or hasn't quite landed.
I've experienced that,
We all do, but this is the thing about choosing you. When you intentionally choose you and actually pay attention to what your mechanical body's doing, what your mechanical mind's doing, what your spiritual side, you're feeling, your energy source, because we're made of energy in our body. When you begin paying attention to that and start paying attention and operating, taking aligned, manifesting intentional action, there's a big difference. You will begin to attract more people that you align with, more opportunities that you align with. It's not luck. It's not fingers and toes cross.
No.
It's intentional design. It's intentional manifesting. It's using your intuition and being aware of how to actually use it. That's what it is. And we can all do it.
I find there's been times where that intuition has been speaking really loud, but Tracy's like, I'm not going to listen today. But then I almost like negotiate myself out of it. Well, no, this was another sign and that was another sign, and maybe I'm just looking for too many signs. But then I always find, like, depending on the situation, I always learn the hard way. And I'm like, I should have actually just trusted my intuition and not, done this or decided to go with this, or it always works out that way. I feel like that's been quite a cool thing the last 2 years. So
even on that, like, for the listeners, like, if you pay attention to the examples of things in your life where you knew you should have went one way, but you ignored that, put the excuses and used whatever quote unquote you wanted it as signs, and it led you down a path that you didn't intentionally want, you can choose in this moment that you always pay attention to your intuition.
Yeah.
And even write that stuff out for your awareness and write down what you choose now in this moment. So when you're running a new story loop, then you're like, I choose me. I choose to trust myself, because this comes in your lack of confidence and trust in you and trust in what you hear.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what stepping into your greatness is all about.
100%. I think I've just had my final lesson in this.
Hey, good woman.
It's just, a decision I've made, and I've kind of gone against what my gut feel was. But I think it's the final time now. I'm hoping because you just almost take yourself down a path where you thought, I kind of knew this would happen, but I ignored it for some stupid reason. But
self-sabotage, it's human nature and the ego pulling you back, Tracy, to say, who do you think you are? Stay in your comfort zone, just stay here. But you don't need to learn the hard way. This is the misinterpretation that we have to. No, you don't.
No.
You can choose to, or you can choose not to. You can choose to choose yourself and actually say, no, I'm choosing to step into my greatness. I'm choosing to pay attention and look at where your markers are. And then I think it's the trust of yourself that's
100%.
Yeah, that's the thing. But the more you do it, the more confidence, because confidence is an inside job.
Yes, I feel that whole, building trust within myself has been quite a journey. But this situation in particular, it's just been like, it's been pretty full on. And I think, oh my gosh, I could have avoided this, but I get, it's that human element. Could I have avoided the entire thing? Maybe it would have different, I don't know. But I think for me, it's just paying more attention, trusting that, and kind of running with it and knowing that I've made the right decision and not going to this negotiation phase that I tend to go into sometimes. Anyway, enough about me. Like, what do they misunderstand about what really matters in life?
That's such a question that I think what matters to people is very different. Like, our idea of success is very different because we're all unique, we're all individual. And I think that there's a lot of factors that come into play for people. I think a lot of times people that are very goal focused and orientated, like having a big house, having a car, growing a company, get to X amount every year, having so many employees, getting a status, getting an award. Like, if you want to use that as an example, they can be laser focused and driven for that. But I think a lot of times then it's only at the end, because there's always a contrast.
Always.
So it's oftentimes only at the end, when you've achieved a goal, when you've achieved something, that you're like, there it is. Because that feeling, that internal knowing of, when I do, I will have, and then I will be. Whereas it's actually the opposite. When I be more in me, then I will do more aligned with me. Then I will have things that are more aligned. We get it back to front. So I think it's very different. I don't even know if that answered that question, Tracy.
It definitely does.
But I think that's the realization probably most people have, is that after they've achieved particular things, especially externals, they'll always find that there's something that they can't put their finger on, or there's something still not quite. And that's the internal, that's the inside job.
How do you think it's possible to want to achieve all those things and still have that, I want to say, internal connection at the same time? Or do you think you kind of, if you go for one, you kind of sacrifice the other?
No.
Yeah. No, I'm just ripping the question.
It's actually a really good question, because I absolutely 100,000% no. There's no sacrificing one for the other. It's your rhythm, it's your flow, it is your effortless way. So when you realize that it's not just put up and shut up, or it's not in order to do this, then I have to sacrifice this. You are the creator of your world, of your life, of your reality, and you get to choose. You have the magic wand. You have that genie in the lamp. When you're aware that your mind is mechanical, it's functional. When you're aware that your body is mechanical, functional. When you're aware that you're spiritually led, which is an infinite being, it's infinite possibilities. When you change your lens of life to that, then you're like, okay. It doesn't mean that the shit of human life and human reality doesn't show up, because it absolutely does.
Always.
But your lens, your view, your energy and flow, and how you deal with things, what you prioritize, what you focus, what you choose to pay attention to intentionally, they all shift. Your point of reference, what matters to you, what has meaning, relevance, that all changes.
Yeah, and another big thing I've learned is just having that intention and focus. Instead of being in like headless chicken mode and Tracy's trying to do 5 million things at once, just really getting really intentional, really focusing. It's really changed my life.
Intentional living, Tracy, is one of the good life core pillars, like intentional design. You're either living by default or you're living by intentional design. And we're always manifesting, we're always on, we're always attracting, but we can do the autopilot, habitual groundhog default, or we can change our default setting to an empowering one, to a supportive one, an intentional one that we choose, and start from a new idea instead of what most days do, starting from old results.
Very, very powerful. It's one of the reasons I stopped drinking. I was on autopilot, just in this lifestyle, Wednesday, Sunday, every single day. And I just thought, I'm so sick of not being fully present. And again, like just being present, like you said, life is so precious, and spending time with someone. If you've had, 5 glasses of Prosecco, well, what are you actually taking or giving to that conversation? So it was very empowering, I think, stepping away from that.
And that's the thing about choice, Tracy, as well, because your life, what you're doing, is unique to you, and only you can choose that. Only you can choose what's aligned for you, what feels right. And it's about choosing in every moment what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing, any one of us that's listening, that's what we can do, is when you choose you and start feeling into what is working for you, what brings you joy, what you love doing, and start shedding the things that don't support you. Then the reality sets in, you're like, there it is.
And I don't know what it is. The universe, God, always has a way of like communicating that. Like, even if I think of the way I stopped drinking, it was kind of had a networking event, free flown away, and I was like, awesome, great. And it was a long day, and I had 1 hour, so I was fine, but I still drove home, and I like parked my car, and next minute, I don't know if it's a voice, I don't know. I was like, what are you doing? You're leading a team, you've got a business, you're always tired, you're hungover, 50% of the week. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And it was like a tap went off. It was one of those moments, I think, like you had. And I was just like, no more. And, touch wood, I've never missed it. I drink Coke Zero in a wine glass. I've copped a little bit of flack, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's most bizarre. So I think the universe has a way of making that final and communicating that with you. And like, enough is enough as well. Sometimes it can be very dramatic, but it has a way.
The universe is always giving you signs, but it's up to you whether you choose to pay attention, because ultimately you have the power to accept something or reject it.
True.
But you're always being guided, and you choosing you and choosing your health and choosing your sanity and choosing less brain fog and choosing to feel better in your body for you, for those reasons, was part of your why. And that's the thing. It's having a strong why behind what you're doing, why you're showing up, how you're presenting. Like that's part of the intentional living, because without that, you always fall by the wayside.
Always. Donna, you've helped women who are at the edge of walking away from their dreams. Why do you think so many women reach that point?
I think that there's just, I've found personally, just and even through coaching other women and just being, even conversations like with my friendship groups and parents and mothers groups and things, it's that thing where we don't know what we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And like in society, there's a lot of different ideas about business women or parent guilt and mother guilt, especially when you're running your business, and justifying and feeling guilty and being, I don't believe in balance. I think balance is bullshit.
That's another reason we get on so well.
I'm like, as women, we wear so many hats. And the reason that I love being just with women is because I think as women, we're taught to apologise for our emotions. We're taught to apologise for our periods, for our time of month. If we're going through maybe menopause or peri, for every season of change, we are always changing. as parents, as mummies, as friends, as partners, as in general. Like, you think of the many seasons, you're riding the constant wave. And I used to get so pissed off at people. Oh, is that your time of the month? Or, oh, are you not feeling great today? Or, oh, just leave mommy be there. And I'm just like, would you ever just piss off?
Yeah.
See, it's about not justifying. And as women, I think we feel like we have to justify. We feel like we have to apologise. We feel like we have to hide our emotions and that we have to be strong and clear. And no, you can be emotional. You can be hormonal. And you can still stand in your power.
Yeah.
You can still be calm and clear. You can still ooze confidence and sex appeal and stand in your truth and be like, no, I have value. I have worth. I'm here to say something, to be seen. And I think a lot of women don't realise that. They think in order to present themselves as that, they have to have a stiff upper lip and not be emotional, not be teary, and they have to be ballsy and I'm like, no, you can choose to be whatever way you feel called to be. And that's when you own your truth. That many times I was called emotional and tiny tears and you crying again. I'm like, yes, I am, because it's a superpower. I am so empathetic. That's how I nursed hundreds of people in their deathbeds, because it's something other people couldn't do. It's part of me and I love it. I love a good cry.
Yes, same.
But I don't wallow in it, which is very important. I love being strong. I love being firm but fair, Tracy. And it's like, I'll say to my boys, don't ever apologise for crying. Don't ever apologise for expressing your emotions, for expressing who you are. If you're not feeling great right now, for sharing. I'm like, if you can't share that about yourself, you're wearing a mask. Like, I was done hiding behind doors and dabbing my tears, Tracy. So it was like, no more.
Yeah. And I think especially for men, like, it's great that you educate your boys on that, because I think a lot of men are afraid to show emotion because they, called a pussy and whatever else. So it's good that you are, cultivating that with, I'm not saying have a cry all day every day, but it's good to show emotion.
It's when you express it instead of stuffing it down. I have 3 boys and I'm like, no, mommy's sad today.
Yeah.
Mommy's feeling emotional today. Mommy's feeling a bit vulnerable today. Mommy was feeling awkward today or feeling nervous today. And I do my best in the moment to try and express. Mommy's angry today. Mommy's sorry for shouting at you today. Mommy's getting frustrated.
Yeah, it's expressing those emotions.
So it's when you're trying to break it down in simple ways, Tracy, and be real. Like, this is the human side of all of us. Mommy's feeling really pissed off today.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll do the Good Life 3 roar, release, reset and reboot with the lads, and I'll do it in the car on the way to school, or I'll do it in the house, and it's like, do you need to release anything else? I'll be tapping, I'll put on high vibe music, or I'll put calming music, or we'll all ground, take our socks and shoes off.
This is a change of state?
Yeah, so it's just
powerful.
Everything. It's because we lead by example, Tracy. No matter if it's for other women, when we shine our light and give ourselves, choose us and give ourselves permission to shine our light, that wave effect. I am here to make a wave effect. I'm here to make an impact. Same way you are.
Yeah,
we all are. And it's not about anybody being better than anybody else, but we're all here to play a part in raising collective consciousness. We're all here to play a part in elevating each other, lifting each other up, and living a good life. This is what I believe everyone's meant to live.
Yeah, same.
But ultimately, we have to individually choose if that's what we want to do the work on.
What would your advice be to a woman who is feeling very lost? She's perhaps lost herself in her marriage or with her kids. She's constantly giving, and maybe perhaps has forgotten who she is.
That I remember after having Louis, my third, after having a cesarean. And it was the first time, and you have the scar and stuff, and after 3 babies. And I remember just looking at myself in the mirror and, your maternity clothes and just stuff. And I just looked at myself and started crying. I was like, who is this person in the mirror? I actually do not know who she is. And I just felt numb and just felt sad and empty. Like the eyes, there was nothing coming back, just a drain and just this need to protect these people, because my daddy reared us, and you're going, how do you know to be a mommy? Like, who teaches? There's no book. You're doing the best you can, and you're just kind of surviving. Like, you're absolutely not thriving, or I wasn't.
I think a lot of women in that frame of mind.
The easiest thing that I can say to women when they're in that is, and what I find really powerful, and when you're in that state, because you're vulnerable, and it's not stuffing those feelings down, but it's actually looking and grab a pen, a bit of paper, or just start gently talking to yourself and actually allowing whatever emotions they come up. I don't know who's looking back at me.
Yeah.
This is scary. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm judging myself, and I'm feeling lost here, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling ugly, or I'm feeling this scar. Allow whatever noise, whatever bullshit is coming up, because that's not who you are. You are beautiful. Like, this is, you're a spiritual being, and you're having this human experience, and you've been gifted this body to experience all the transits, and it's just in this moment. But when you have the ability, Tracy, to give yourself grace and actually look at yourself with love and tenderness and say, how incredible are you? Like, if you are a mama, you brought these kids into the world. If you're not, and you have stuff to do with your business, and you're looking going, who am I now after this? Wherever you are, related to you. I always say to people, go in and have a shower, wash your hair, wash off all the makeup, come and stand out in a full-length mirror and drop your towel. That's the naked truth. That's the exercise I get people to do.
Yeah.
Very confronting.
100%.
So be in a space where you're on your own. Allow the tears to come, allow the anger to come, allow the roars to come.
Yeah.
But allow all the bullshit you've been stuffing down, Tracy, because you'll be amazed at the gut, at the sickness, at the feeling, at the heaviness, at the tightness of all the emotions that you experience in your body. Allow them all to come up, and practice this every day, giving yourself grace. How would you speak to a friend? You know, we're so hard on ourselves, and our ego is the master of self-sabotage to keep us in our box and keep us. But when you start doing that and start asking yourself then, okay, so what would I like?
Yeah.
How would I choose to feel? How would I like to feel? Where do I remember times when I did feel really good? For me, it was Australia. Even before the kids, when I could breathe for the first time and having that buzz of life back, and oh my God, no heaviness. Like, go back to memories and think, do I want to be fun again? Do I want to feel the joy of laughter? Do I want to feel sexy again? That was for me. I was like, I want to feel sexy. I want to rock sexy clothes again. I want to... Yeah, I want to feel more at home in my own home. I am my home.
Yeah.
So when you feel more at home in your own home, and you choose you and do this and sit into this, oh my God, Tracy, like, it's messy in the bit, and you're just going, oh my God. But the transition and the things that come from it are powerful. If you're looking and going, no, I can't do that, I just need to have a chat, then come and have a chat with me. I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I love Mel Robbins. She mentioned something about you look at yourself every morning, and you tell yourself that you love yourself. I love you, but you say it to yourself. Awkward as. Feels really weird. I've tried it. Or you high five yourself. Yeah. And it's like, it's just the most crazy experience in the beginning, because you're kind of staring at yourself and like, who the hell is this? And like, you just kind of walk away, and then you try and, like, honestly, if our listeners, try it if you haven't. Just every morning wake up, say to yourself, I love you, and, I'm proud of what you've achieved. Because so often we are so focused on everyone else but ourselves, and it feels so weird in the beginning, but then just slowly it gets easier every single time. Another tool I found that works really well, because I have a morning practice when I'm journaling, ChatGPT, if there's something that's on your mind, it could be, I'm feeling this, or someone said this and it triggered me. It's actually really good. Of course, always seek, professional help. But it's just a great tool if you're in that rut, your mind's in that state, and you don't want to stay there for the rest of the day. It just kind of helps you process and put a few things in perspective. And it does mantras and heaven knows what else on wallpapers. Yeah. It just helps you kind of get out of that rut that you're in. So...
And it sounds like a great resource. That's
so powerful. It's amazing. It's just, it can even prompt you every morning if you want a journal prompt. So I'll be like, morning journal prompt, in Bible verse, and it'll just create it. Or I might say, so when someone says something to me and it triggers me, I always believe there's some truth in what they're saying. So I'll sit with it. So it was a few days ago, I put it in there and then it just came up with all the stuff and I connected it to, someone else. It just kind of puts it in perspective. And I was like, right, so now I'm more mindful of that. I need to manage this situation with that person so it's not filtering into my business. So it just made me mindful. And I hadn't made any connection between the two.
Yeah.
But when I sat down, just took a breather, popped it in there, it kind of did a few different things. It's obviously how you prompt it as well.
Yeah.
But it was really just helped me kind of get a perspective, get a grip in the situation, and then it wasn't consuming my mind. So.
And you're taking action. And that is the thing, Tracy, because when we are triggered or when something happens or when somebody does something and it really bothers it, often that's a mirror reflection of something that you're being called to work on, depending on what that is. So when you move into that without judgment and just go from a neutral point of view and just be like, okay, is there something in that has triggered me? And is there something that I can actually think of that relates? Is there something that I maybe do or how I show up that I don't enjoy that I can actually elevate out of now, that I can actually shift intentionally? Then you take back your power and you are empowered to move. I use a lot of I choose to know from the TRTP and a lot of I am affirmations, because whatever follows I am follows you.
Yes.
But I find when sometimes you're sitting into I am amazing or I am whatever, depending on where you're at in your level of awareness, sometimes it doesn't quite land or feel quite right or accepting.
Sure.
But if you shift that terminology to I choose to know, you're empowering yourself and look in the mirror. I choose to know that today is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
I choose to know that I'm choosing me. I choose to know that I'm doing my best right now. And I give myself hugs all the time. I give my Wayne's hugs all the time, but I also give myself hugs all the time. And it's powerful.
Yeah, I think you've highlighted just being kinder to yourself. Like,
Absolutely.
I know I'm like my harshest critic sometimes, but it's just remembering to, tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror. It's weird as what it feels. Sound like a loony. Or give yourself a hug or just those little moments. And that's why I have a very set morning routine. It's in my calendar. It doesn't get before I'd wake up, go through my computer. No more. I'm a better human when I have that morning routine. I exercise.
That's me, yeah.
And it just sets you up for the day, I find.
When you choose you first intentionally and you know what works for you, it's finding that and making it work for you, not just following suit and going, okay, such and such said that this works or I've read this book. So do whatever it is and then look at the parts that align with you, that feel right, that work for you in your life.
Yeah.
And then take out the parts that don't.
Yeah.
And it's like you're allowed, and this is what most people don't realise. They're like, oh, they've said that in that book or they've said that in that pro. So I have to do this, and this. And I can't, but it doesn't fit into your world and then it never shifts anything. So it's about taking pieces of what works for you.
Yeah.
And owning that and saying, okay, I like that, so thank you.
Yeah, and integrate it into your life.
And knowing you can always choose again, always.
I think we sometimes forget that, right?
I think we forget that quite a lot, Tracy. We think
Me too.
we're as business owners, you forget and you're like, okay, so I have this magic formula. This is set like this, and then I'm like, whoa,
This process,
slow. No, because you're always evolving. Like it's a never-ending ladder, and until you cross over. Your life is a never-ending journey of expansion. We're here to evolve. A goal is for you to learn and evolve and express at another level, and then another level, and another level, and another level.
Yeah.
So it's just for you to learn and understand at new levels of awareness.
I was listening to actually it was Mel Robbins, again, my favourite, one of the founders of Hillsong's church. So he opened up about, his experience. He was living like a double life. He was a pastor, but he was having an affair. Like, hats off, he just spoke very openly. And I'm mastering management at the moment, I'll be honest. And anyway, I'd had a meeting with my advisor the day before, and then again, the universe spoke to me through this episode. I'm very impatient. So I want stuff done yesterday, and why have I not got that way? I'm just like, again, I'm quite harsh on myself. And so what he said, though, is like, you have a farmer, right? So a farmer will, sow his crops and stuff, But it's not like he plants the seed and the next day he's like, damn it, where's my crops at? You know, it's like, we would say that farmer is nuts. And I was like, I listened to it about 20 times. I was killing myself laughing, but I'm like, that's me. I'm like expecting to plant the seed today. Tomorrow I want X, Y, Z, and Z all happening. And I was like, idiot. So it just kind of put it in perspective. But it was just so divinely timed with the conversation I had with Paul on the Friday. Then I heard this on this podcast, and then I actually messaged him and said, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I've just heard. Like, this so aligned. And I just couldn't stop laughing. He said, we would say that, you know, that farmer's nuts because he just expects the crop to be there like the next morning. And I was like, and he said like the whole focus was, again, I accept that I'm in it for the long journey, and like what I'm planting today will reap the reward in the future. And I was like, that's so powerful. So it's just, again, something the universe gave me a big, you know, slap in the face. Wake up, Tracy. But just, I thought that's such a good way to kind of put in perspective, because, you know, I think I'm not the only patient person in the world, on the planet, sorry, but it's just a reminder that it's a process, whether it's personal growth, business, whatever it may be. So
it's just human nature, Dave. My friend Melanie sent me a thing of the boy peering around the door corner, and it's like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? And it's like, no, stop digging up your carrots. Stop digging up your crops. You're sowing seeds all the time. Some will come into fruition a lot quicker than others. But you're always planting, always sowing. You're always in that expansion phase. Yeah. And you're always bringing things into form at the same time. So it's just being aware of that and then saying, okay.
Yeah. Donna, we're going to introduce a new round. We're going to do a few one-word prompts. So I'm gonna share a word with you, and I'd love you to share with us what it means. So permission. What does this word mean to you right now?
Oh, right now, permission is giving yourself permission.
Go to the mirror, naked.
You do not need anybody else's permission. Absolutely not. Your permission, choosing you, that's what that means for me. It's giving yourself permission to be fully, unapologetically you. All of you. Yeah. Even the parts that you class as messy, even the parts that you may class as disaster, failure, awful. We all have them. We all have the masks, Tracy.
Yeah.
But how can you fully live and embrace all of you if you're hiding and denying the messy bits? You can't. One foot in, one foot out. You can't. So when you own it, when you love on you hard, intentionally loving the messy bits, loving the bits that need to come in out of the cold and saying, I've got you. I forgive you. We're no longer going to be hard on you. That's when you give yourself permission to love on you for all the things that you class as your faults or whatever shit that you want to take that out and just start loving hard on you. And give yourself permission to bring in all the bits. Everything in your life will change, Tracy. Everything.
And I think that's why that exercise you suggested earlier, by just standing in front of a mirror, just completely naked, it kind of removes everything, like even your clothing. And it's kind of like you're just having you're just with yourself, literally. So everyone get naked in front of your mirrors.
And keep practicing until you're able to be there. Because that's where you're actually doing the work. Even if you can't take your towel off right now, even if you can't look yourself in the eye yet.
Yeah, it's confronting.
Keep going there. That is what we call the inner work, but that's what shapes your outer reality, Tracy. And that's what people don't realise. Yeah,
very, very powerful. Enough. When did you finally feel it?
I've had so many timeouts in my lifetime, Tracy, that I'm just like, oh my God. The last enough for me was last year after a car accident, where it was the last year of spinning my wheels in business and just doing all the things that did not align, that were just like, just going and going and going. And it was like, no. And that was the final enough for me to impact physically, emotionally, every part, to just say, right, enough's enough, Donna. You're going into you. You are loving on you. You are bringing all them bits you out in the cold.
Yes.
All them judgy, guilty, all that not good enough bits of business and doubt and whatever. You're bringing it all in.
And it sounds like you've had quite a few key events that have happened. I'm just like, listening to hearing your story. There seems to be quite these key events that happened. And remember, we spoke, I think, shortly after you had your accident. And thank you for sharing as well. But again, it's kind of like the universe is giving you these key signs as to where you... Do you feel like it's kind of leading you to where you need to go, I guess?
I'm always being guided. And it's funny, like, because you says, Donna, have you always been intuitive? And we always have intuition. But from a very young age, I've always been very aware, like always been in tune with my emotions, being in tune with other people's emotions. I would always be wide open to other people's energies. People would always come to me, but I would always be very aware internally of my energy, my vibration. I would be very heightened too when things were wrong and I needed to get out of there, when things weren't right, when things didn't line up. I was always very aware. I was always able to call things on the nose, if that makes sense, throughout my life. But even in the biggest moments when I had things happen, I always had that internal knowing, like that inner voice saying, this is part of your process. Like, you're going to use this wisdom. This is a part of your journey that... Not here to teach you a lesson, I don't believe, but it's here, how can you use this wisdom that you've taken from this? How can you utilise this and now build on it for your next phase and your next phase? And so after last year, the Good Life approach had its own identity shift this year. And this is where it's had a full transition now to the next phase for me. So it's like all these big impacts have led me now to this part, and it's exciting then to see, okay, intuitively, where am I going next?
Yeah, I love that. The last one is messy. What does it look like in your real life?
Messy? When the kids are losing their shit before getting out to school, when I am losing my shit, when they're puking and you're on a call and you've had 8 missed voice calls, or when your stuff doesn't work, your equipment or your camera goes off, or your internet, or someone knocks at the door when you're nearly at the end of recording something.
I guess at a naked session.
But you know what? I absolutely love the messy bits, and we all have them, Tracy. So it's when you start embracing them and actually start enjoying being in that rhythm and become aware and have the perspective like, ooh, okay. So I'm in this and I'm feeling uncomfortable. Like I'm feeling it today. Like I'm sweating. I'm feeling a bit sick. I'm feeling a bit giddy. Like, or you're in them parts where you're like, ooh, like even in the train on the way down to this, I was like, okay, Donna, okay, get your car parked and get your thing. And then I'm like, this is good. This is going to be a great conversation. So it's when you're reframing the messy bits and then you're like, because I know this is going to be good. Like I know that it's choosing your perspectives about your messy middle, about the ideas to say that this is when you're in these, you know that you're moving another layer. You know that you're expanding to another vision that you hold of yourself, that you're being right now. And in order to be in that vision of your goal achieved, of whatever that looks like for you and your confidence, stepping into your power, how it translates in your business, how it translates in your world, how it translates in your health, your finances, your relationships. In order to be at certain levels of that, you still have to go through a messy middle, and your ego is going to have a pullback for you to pull you back into your comfort zone. So when you're feeling the messiness and when you're feeling the pullback, that's your tail, Tracy, to say, yes, I'm going in the right direction. That's your time to flip and get excited and be like, yes, when something happens, it's like, instead of the shit has hit the fan, it's like, oh, I'm going in the right direction. Boom, happy days, or I need to redirect. But I am elevating. I am moving in the right space for me. That's the messy. That's what that means for me. It's excitement. Yeah,
definitely. Donna, what are you most proud of that no one sees?
When I've messed up with the kids, like when I've ballsed up or when I've give out to them or when I'm doing, in the moments where I stop myself a lot quicker, when I stop overreacting or stop being in that, when I stop a lot quicker and I'm like, pull myself on it, not with harshness, but with love. And then I'm able to sit with the boys and actually in the moment in real time. It could be in the middle of a shop. It could be, and it's not sitting waiting till you sit on the couch. It could be in the toilet. It could be when they're brushing their teeth. But it's in the moments catching myself and then pausing to respond in a way that actually supports the goodness of me, supports my boys, supports how I want them to experience. Does that make sense? It's supporting a better experience of a situation. That for me is when I'm most proud, where I'm like, yes, Donna, you caught that. And that's the daily work. That's your routine. That's your intention. That's your... Because there is no perfect, Tracy. Like, get that out of the...
Yeah, no, I tried that, failed.
Because it's not real.
It's not. No, and I really love how you've owned that, you know, with your boys, you sometimes screw up. Because I think I've seen a lot of my friends, and I hear this by the grapevine, a lot of women think they have to be perfect and there has to be this... I mean, gosh, with kids, yes, I can understand a routine matters, but they think they have to just be spot on perfect the whole time. And if they... not 100% in this part of their life, they're failing in another area. So I really love that you've been real about that as well.
Thank you. I think the biggest takeaway, Tracy, is when you're grounded, when you're okay in you, when you're good in you, when you're doing the inner work and you're solid and you're confident to apologize, you're confident to speak up, you're confident to share what's going on in a age-appropriate, relatable way with everybody in your life. Like, that wave effect goes out and impacts everybody that matters to you in your world.
So true.
And beyond. So that's why starting with you really matters. Like, it's key.
There's a saying I love. It's you in the jar and you can't see the label. So often I'm in my shit stain coloured jar. Get out of it. But again, that pause, that moment, kind of just parking something and sleeping on it the next day. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's just that clarity as well, you know. So
it's knowing your design. It's knowing when you're best to get clarity. It's knowing how you operate, what you need. Do you need to sit on something? Do you need to intuitively act? When you know you, because you're the only one that can know you inside as well as out. So when you make it your business to really know you and feel you and be present with you, everything in your life changes.
It does. Yeah. Donna, I feel like we could talk for days. Thank you so much for all that you shared. Where is the best place for our listeners to go should they wish to connect with you?
You can connect to me via the website, thegoodlifeapproach.com. That's the best place where you can go and experience everything. You can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, all The Good Life Approach.
Great. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks to our listeners. Again, get naked, look at yourself in the mirror, get to know yourself. And for our listeners, if you have got a question that you'd love us to, pop on the show, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much, Donna.
You're welcome. Thanks, Tracy.